Hello and a big welcome back to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman and we have had a major winter upgrade. What do you reckon? What are we saying? I've had an upgrade, but the 2021 to 2024 Formula One cars are definitely not had an upgrade. I am about to get into this big time. We'll get into Hamilton Ferrari as time progresses. We'll get into that, and also the Andretti situation then being rejected by the 10 current Formula One teams, which is an absolute shambles. But yeah, what do you reckon? We're back, we're bigger, we're better. The first race kicks off in about 3 weeks time. I'll also be doing F2 this season as well, so I will bring you most of the feature races for F2 and maybe a few of the sprint races as well in F2. So we'll do F1 and F2 just in case we get another Max Verstappen winning 23 out of 24 races. We've got a little bit of something to fall back on. The F1 might be Max wins again, Max wins again, Max wins again. If you saw my compilation of the start and end of every race last season, if we have to go through that again, I've got a backup plan, so we'll get on the F2 as well. But yes, Carl, welcome in. What intro. Yes, we're back for 2024. And instead of having a different intro for every single race, which is an absolute ball ache to do, it'll just be that intro for every stream, which makes things a million times easier. I hope you can appreciate that, because spending an whole afternoon on an intro is a bit of a rip. But yes, Chrissy Lady, we welcome in. Anto's back. Cheers, Anto. Yeah, we've had an upgrade, haven't we? You can't deny it. Like between November last year and now, we've upgraded. Oh yeah, the Hamilton news. Someone said it in the stream, like it's the biggest F1 transfer ever. It is the biggest driver move in F1 history, that. But we'll get into that in a bit. I should have gone live at the time, but I was stuck at work and all the rest of it. So I've not been able to do a stream really for the last few days. But yeah, crazy start to 2024 season. Let's not even get started. Apologies to Lewis Hamilton fans. Retirement pension. Yeah, it's a final swan song in it for Hamilton. But yeah. The reason why, what's triggered me doing this stream now, because I wasn't going to do one for 2 or 3 weeks, but what's triggered this is the Alpine launch. if you haven't seen, Alpine have become the 5th team. So we've seen half the grid now, basically, well, in livery-wise anyway. But Alpine, a couple of hours ago, have become the 5th team to launch their car. Apparently it was actually the real Alpine 2024 car, which is a first. The other ones have just released a livery. But what it's done is it's shown me that there's a serious problem. There's a serious problem with F1 liveries at the moment. And Carl said it with the very first comment, rest in peace, colourful F1 cars. This is becoming the no paint epidemic, right? They need to change something. Let's first have a look at, yes, JJ, welcome to the chat, bro. Welcome into the stream, right? Before we get into the Hamilton Ferrari, I want to get into this livery situation because it is going downhill rapidly. Colours are disappearing from the grid, right? Let's start with the Haas, right? I've got a picture of the Haas. So this was the first one launched. I think this was 1st of Feb or 3rd of Feb, a few days ago. Haas were first out of the blocks with a black car. With a carbon black car with hardly any paint on it. A white Haas logo, but essentially a paintless car. This is because the teams are drastically trying to get to this weight limit where it's even too much weight to paint the car. They're struggling that much to get down to the maximum, the minimum weight limit of the car that they're scrimping out on paint. Now, this was a problem we saw last season, but this is getting to a point now where someone needs to step in. Well, it's too late for this year, but someone needs to step in for next year and go, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. We are going to get a full grid. If we're not careful, in the next year or two, if we keep following this path, we are going to get a full grid of carbon black cars, unpainted cars with a couple of stickers on and maybe like an orange pinstripe or a green pinstripe or a red pinstripe. And we're going to get a full grid of carbon unpainted cars. And that is a joke. Like, that is like a serious epidemic. Like, what is this? Like, we saw hints of it in the last couple of years, with Mercedes going for the full carbon black look. And I remember when that Mercedes got launched a couple of years ago in full carbon black, I was like, yeah, that looks good. I was like, that looks mean. It looks like a Batmobile. I didn't think the entire grid would have to do that. This is becoming like, it's too much. And I saw the Alpine launch a couple of hours ago. I was like, nah, this ain't it. This is not it. Alpine last season had a bright pink car for the first few races, and then had this lovely. I've not got a picture of it, but you watched last season, innit? They had this beautiful matte blue, like a beautiful blue Alpine car. Not this year, bruv. Carbon black. Carbon black, like the entire grid is going to be. This is a serious problem, man. This is not good. This is not good. So we started off a few days, about a week ago, with this, right? Which I'm thinking, yeah, it's all right, you know. It's a carbon black car. I think the nose is white, bit of red, 90% carbon. Then McLaren come out with this. This will probably be the most colourful car on the grid, and it's 70% carbon black. 70% raw, unpainted carbon black, and this is as good as it's going to get. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Ferrari in a few days, and it's 50% carbon black with a bit of red on the engine cover, and they go, yeah, that's the Ferrari. Yeah, we're going carbon black with a bit of red on the engine cover, and maybe a red rear wing. I can just see, this is getting beyond a joke. So we've got Haas with no paint on it. We've got McLaren thinking, we better put a bit of orange on it. What happens next season? A little bit less orange, a little bit less. What are we going to here? We're going to a grid of unpainted cars. Yeah, then we got the Williams, didn't we? Then we got the Williams. This is like 2 days ago. Navy blue. So we're at 2 carbon black cars and a navy blue one. This livery is nothing special. I was thinking, do I go live for the William launch? Do I reaction? Oh, mate. This is a damp squid. This is a big anticlimax, this Williams livery. A Williams sponsored by Gulf. How are Williams not going down the Gulf livery route of like pale blue and orange? How are they not doing that? Why are they not doing that? Literally, like, this livery on its own in a grid of colourful cars, they get away with it. But in a livery of carbon black cars, a navy blue one, bro. So this livery's dead as well. This livery is dead. They won't remove the paint if testing goes bad. Mate, what is going on, right? So we deal with that. Then we get the Stake F1 team thing, don't we? Then it's time for Stake F1 team, innit? Which I am calling Sauber this year. Just as an early heads up. This is Sauber. This is Stake kick Sauber F1 team. Kick them out of the sport, bruv. This is the Stake kick F1 team. I like the green. Don't get me wrong. I like the green. But again, for a 4th livery in a row, it is mainly carbon black. So you're going to have a carbon black car with a little bit of orange, one with a little bit of green, one with a little bit of red, one where you can see the theme. This is just, it's not a good theme. And I quite like this one. But if it was predominantly green, it's just ridiculous. Something different. It is something different. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't know which McLaren revealed thought it was only elite. No, it's the livery. I don't think it's a McLaren actual car though. All of these are just liveries, apart from the Alpine. I think it's the actual car. I actually like Sauber above the rest. This one, yeah, I think this is probably the best one so far. But it's still, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, Sauber used to be red, white, and black. Yeah, but it would look nice that though with that cherry red, the Alfa Romeo. Cherry red with the white and black. That looked good. This is like, it's like something. Someone said, I was watching this stream live, and people were saying in chat that it's like my team, like something when you create your own team on an F1 game, ends up looking like this. It's like crap, basically. And then this today, we got the Alpine. Mate, what is this, man? What is this? Someone has got to sit them down and bash their heads together and go, paint's not at a premium, you know, bruv. So someone needs to sit these guys down and go, they either need to bring the weight limit up a little bit so that the weight of the paint is not a factor. Which is ridiculous. I know a Formula One's the pinnacle and they're trying to get that extra millimetre, but if you can't even afford to paint the car because it adds too much weight, things gone too far west. It's gone too far in one direction. They need to rein it in again. Or they need some sort of a rule, which sounds stupid, but they need some sort of a rule where they say, right, 80% of the cars got to be painted. I don't care. This is getting off the chart. So we've seen half the grid, and there's not a lot of colour, mate. There's not a lot of colour. Let's just bang them all in a line here, right? Bang. This is what the grid's looking like so far. What is this? Right, this is the grid, and then the Haas. Mate, you're telling me, yeah, this is the grid so far. We used to have, oh mate, I know I'm sounding like a granddad here, but in the 90s, you used to have bright green Lolas and the Benetton, the bright blue, and the Ferrari was always bright red. God no, I could see Ferrari just coming out of a carbon black Ferrari. Like what do we do then? What if Ferrari go carbon black, mate? Red paint, too much weight. Then we're in the mud. Because think about this, yeah? The Mercedes is going to launch carbon black, right? With no paint on it. Who else is it? Who's the other 5 teams? So you got Mercedes are going to launch with a carbon black car. The Red Bull is next to carbon black anyway. It's like the darkest blue on the chart. So they're either coming out with this same matte navy blue that they've had, or black. So that's the Red Bull. That's another 2. Who else? I think we're relying on this Visa Cash App team to launch a blue car. To launch a bright blue car. If Visa Cash App, or whatever they want to call it, Racing Bulls, I'll probably call it Racing Bulls, to be honest. If Racing Bulls launch a carbon black car, we're done out here. And then who else is left? So you've got Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Visa Cash App, and who's the other one? And Aston will be... The thing is, Aston Martin will launch with mostly carbon black with a bit of dark green. We're done out this season. Oh, rip. Absolute rip. But I just wanted to get into that because the Alpine launch today, look at this, man. What are you doing, mate? This is the theme. This is just how it is now. It's not good, is it? That is just how it is now. It's not good, mate. So I think if they don't put a stop to this now, they're going to be launching cars next year, and it's literally just going to be a blue pinstripe for one team, a red pinstripe for another team, a green pinstripe for another team, and a blue, and that'll be it. It's carbon. You know what I mean? If someone launched, oh mate, honestly, if someone just launched a car in full colour, the saving. We're literally relying on Visa Cash App. Anyway, that's enough on the liveries. Let's get into the big one, because I've not been able to do a stream on it yet, but the big one. The big transfer. What's everyone's thought then on Hamilton to Ferrari 2025? To me, I'll be honest with you, I was massively shocked. I never thought, I've always hoped for it. I'm going to start this by saying this is something that I've hoped for the best part of a decade. But it's something that I never thought we'd see. It's something that has always been like a fantasy of like, imagine if. Like, I used to talk to the guy that I work with, and we always used to say, we've been saying it for years. Imagine if Hamilton went to Ferrari. We've been saying it for years, going, oh, what a move that'd be. And then that'd be followed up by, yeah, but it'll never happen. It'll never happen. Hamilton to Ferrari, imagine. It'll never happen. Never happen. I woke up the other day, mate, I shot out of bed. I was like, oh, so you know, you wake up and you just look at your phone and you're like, and you just see the news, like, you know, this, that, and that. Hamilton's like, boom, I shot at that. Boom, I was like, say that's me in bed. Hamilton's like, boom, bang. I couldn't believe it, mate. I still can't believe it. it is the biggest. I remember Vettel going from Red Bull to Ferrari in 20. It was announced in 2014, wasn't it? And that was massive. That was the biggest. That was the biggest one. This is bigger. This is bigger. Good because it stops Max winning every week. What, Hamilton at Ferrari? Oh, not necessarily. I hope so. But yeah, it's absolutely massive. Like I say, it was like something that's been like a dream. But best believe I'll be repping the Hamilton Ferrari scenario. I'll be fully behind that. When I was throughout my life and my teenage years and my early 20s, I was always a big Hamilton fan. And then what happened is when he won his 7th title in Turkey in 2020, I then, up until that point, I was big time Hamilton fan up until the end of the Turkish Grand Prix in 2020. And at that point, all my Formula One enthusiasm and every race I watched from like 2006 to when Hamilton joined in 2007. So literally Hamilton joined as I was getting into it majorly. As I was starting to watch every single race and it was becoming a big part of my life, bang, upturned Hamilton. So it was just like a natural fit. Oh, here's the next young kid. And then you latch onto him. And must have been like 13, 14 years old. And at that age, you want a hero, don't you? You want someone to look up to. And Lewis Hamilton turning up in 2007 was that guy. So, and then from then on, it was Formula One for me was just Lewis Hamilton and 19 other guys. I didn't care. If Hamilton retired from the race, my sort of attention to it was like, oh, is this worth watching anymore? It was solely on one man. When it got to Turkey 2020 and he wrapped up his 7th title, I then took a step back. I'm like, at this point, I'm like 27. It's like, yo, it's time to take off the Hamilton cap and enjoy this sport in its full way, not just on what. So from the end of 2020 onwards, I became then neutral. Always in the back of my head, I'm like, go on, Lewis. Always that might not come across on the streams. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But always in the back of my head, I'm like, go on, Lewis, because I supported him from day one. But from the end of 2020, I went, the journey's complete. He's won 7 titles. I can't go through the emotional the emotional stress every week of please win the race. Don't, every strategy announcement, every pit stop, every puncture, every engine failure, every problem was like a major issue. So at that point I go, right, we've done the journey. Let's chill out now. Let's see it from a neutral point of view now. And then I went into 2021 fully neutral. I was like, let's enjoy this Verstappen a bit. Let's enjoy this driver coming through, that driver coming through. And all of a sudden, I looked at the sport with 10 times more maturity than I had done up until that point. Basically, I took my bias cap off, basically. I was biased for 15 years and went, nah, do you know what? There's more to this game. So, I'm telling you now, right? I have been neutral since Max went turned up in 2021 and went head to head. I loved it. The Hamilton bias was gone. I was like, what a championship fight. That Verstappen-Hamilton season 21, best season I've ever seen. Even the outcome was absolutely blockbuster. Everyone's like outraged and all the controversy. I loved it. How did I love it? Because I'd come from a place of complete bias to now opening the horizon. You know what I mean? Open mind. I loved the 2021 season. Then we went on to 2022. I'm like, yeah, Mick Schumacher, this, that. I like that driver, Alonso and all this. Best believe you, Hamilton at Ferrari 2025. That Hamilton cap is coming back on me. I am finishing my Hamilton fan journey at Ferrari. It's back on. The neutral thing. Nah, I hate it, bro. That was just for a couple of years, wasn't it? I think I got bored. I think it got a bit static, didn't it? It just got a bit. I'm done with it. It's back on me. It's fired up something in me. Hamilton going to Ferrari has fired up like that boyhood love that I have for Formula One. It's like reignited it and gone, oh, we're having another slice of this. Because I'd become a bit like last season, I was doing all the watch alongs and everything. And it's Max, and I'm thinking, it ain't what it is. And then this is, for me, it's just reignited everything. It's reignited it. I can't wait. I can't wait for this season because there's so many storylines. What if he's going side by side with a Ferrari into turn one? What if they make contact? What happens to Perez next year at Red Bull? What happens? Who's going to replace Hamilton at Mercedes? There's so many things. It just sets off this huge domino effect as well in terms of the driver market. It's massive. But that's why it's such big news for me, because it reignites. After about 4 years, I put the Hamilton cap back on and go, let's finish the career in style. Let's finish this career in style. Do you know what I mean? It's a final. I love it. I love every aspect of it. It's a final roll of the dice. I feel like from Lewis, it's more of an emotional move rather than a sporting move. When you're a junior coming through the ranks and everything, Ferrari's a dream, isn't it? Ferrari's a dream for any driver. And I think he's just looked at it and thought, it's now or never. If I don't race in red now, that's it. He reached a crossroads where it's either Mercedes forever, ambassadorial role the lot, and it's Mercedes for the rest of your life, or we go for it now. One final roll of the dice, one final swan song, a last dance in red. I can't believe it. I'm absolutely buzzing. But yeah, Carl, Leclerc and Hamilton are teammates. The thing is, a few days before the Hamilton's Ferrari news dropped, Leclerc announced a new deal with Ferrari as well. So Leclerc signed up for that, knowing Lewis was coming. It's ballsy. It's ballsy, that. And to be honest with you, I think Leclerc will give him a good fight. I think Leclerc will give him a good fight. Leclerc's rapid over one lap. And then what tends to happen is he's a little bit more mistake prone than the other top guys. Verstappen hardly ever makes mistakes, especially these days, the last 3 or 4 seasons. Verstappen hardly ever puts a foot wrong. Alonso hardly ever puts a foot wrong. Hamilton hardly ever puts a foot wrong. Yeah, he's not had a stellar couple of years because, for obvious reasons, because the car hasn't been as good as what he's had in the previous years. But he doesn't put a foot wrong. You don't see Hamilton in the wall, do you? But you do see Leclerc in the wall about 4 or 5 times a season, which is 4 or 5 times more than Max and Lando and Fernando and Lewis And they're to me, they're the top guys. They're the elite is Max, Lewis, Fernando, Lando, and Charles. Just around about there. Now, if Charles can, or Charles, however you want to say it, if he can eliminate those mistakes, mate, he'll be definitely world championship potential. I think it's a good move. I thought it was a joke at first until I saw it. At first, I was thinking, has something happened in terms of, has he had a big fallout with Mercedes? But I don't think it's that. It's not. And then the other obvious one is to say, oh, he's had a go in the 2024 car in the simulator, not liked it. No, man. And that was my initial opinion. Had I done this stream straight off the bat, as the news got announced, I would have sat here and said, he's been in the simulator, he's driven the new car, and he's thought, nah, I'm not about it, I'm out of here. It's not that. This has been brewing. He'll have been thinking about this. He'll have been in negotiations since last summer. So it's not a knee-jerk reaction to, oh, we're gonna have another winless season here at Mercedes. Pack my bags, I'm off. No. This is longer in the tooth than that. This is something he's probably been mulling over since George Russell arrived at the team, to be honest, for a couple of years. And I love it. Like I say, it's really invigorated my enthusiasm for Formula One. Because I tell you what, last season, I said it before in the streams, like last season is the worst season I've ever seen by some margin. But join me in a few weeks. No, it's got to be better. I will try and do a pre-season prediction stream in the next couple of weeks. But it has got to be better this season. There's a thing that's often quoted called the diminishing returns. In other words, Red Bull are at a point where they can't improve that car much more than it is under the current technical regulations. They're at an absolute limit where Red Bull can't just over the winter find another second. They're at a point where they're brushing up against what is possible under these regulations. So as time goes on, the other teams are going to close the gap. That's just factual. There is no more loopholes. No more big loopholes to be found where Red Bull has suddenly come out of the traps. Oh my God, they've created a fancy front wing. Bang, they're a second quicker. No, they're at a point where maybe they can find a couple of tenths with a major upgrade, but not really. Do you know what I mean? So it's up to the other guys now, with McLaren's trajectory, to get a lot nearer, Mercedes to get a lot nearer, Ferrari to get a lot nearer. And whilst I still think, obviously, this kind of gets rid of the pre-season prediction stream, doesn't it? But whatever. Whilst Red Bull and Verstappen will obviously still be on top, I don't think you're going to get a walkover season like last year. I don't think you're going to get Max winning 19 out of 24. I feel like you're going to get Ferrari picking up 3 or 4 wins, Mercedes picking up 3 or 4 wins. I feel like this is the season that Lando Norris finally wins. It's been overdue for a couple of years. I feel like this is the season where Lando gets over that hurdle, wins a couple of races this year, and Max wins either 12 or something like that. If we start off this season and Max wins like the first 5, I'll be like, I'll be like, right, should we just do F2 for the rest of the year? Seriously. But yes, welcome in, Farron. I know you said hello a few minutes ago. I just get on a ramble and away we go, innit? Do you know what, funnily enough, Chris, I don't think it is about money. I think it's beyond that. I think, listen, Lewis is obviously, I don't think it's a money motivation. He's not thinking, oh, with Mercedes, they're offering me 30 million a season. At Ferrari, they're offering me 50 million a season. I could do with the extra 10 million. I could do with the extra 20 million. Let's have a bank account mode. It's not that. It's as corny as it sounds, as cheesy as it sounds, it's the romance of it. It's the history. It's the legacy. If Hamilton can win a championship in red, right, that means more than the 6 he's won with Mercedes. It just does. It just does. I can't explain in words why, but it just does. If Lewis can win a championship in a Ferrari, it's different gravy. It's different gravy. It's not about the money. It's about your legacy. It's about his legacy. He would undoubtedly at that point go down as the greatest of all time. One, because, not least because he would have to beat Verstappen in his prime, and Leclerc in his prime, and George Russell in his prime, and Lando Norris in his prime. You're having a laugh. If Lewis wins a championship at Ferrari, throw out all the stats books. He's the greatest of all time. No argument. So it's the lure of that. You know what I mean? Even if Hamilton won, say, I'm not even talking about championships. Say Hamilton won the Italian Grand Prix for Ferrari in Monza in front of the Tifosi. Even if he does it in an easy fashion, that's the greatest win of his career. Because it just is. Do you know? Because you're in red. You're in scarlet red. I honestly, I can't believe it. It is literally a dream come true. Hamilton in the scarlet red. No amount of money. You know, you stick him on a pound a race, mate. He's doing it. I don't think it's about that. Pretender like Leclerc's ego bridesmaid. Mate, that is the one question mark in it, Chris. I'll give you that. That is the one. Leclerc and Hamilton. It sounds like, and it is probably one of the strongest lineups ever in history. That is one of the strongest lineups ever. You know, Red Bull had a beast of a lineup with Verstappen, Ricciardo. That was a big, because it was Ricciardo when he was good. Do you know what I mean? He might be good again, but he fell off. They had a beast of a lineup. Hamilton, Alonso, McLaren 07. That is probably the best line. They probably didn't even realise it at the time. That is probably the strongest driver lineup ever. It lasted 5 months before it all went down the pan. It lasted about 5 months. They get to the Hungarian Grand Prix and it's fireworks. Game over. It only lasted a year. So, you know, Senna Prost is another one. Senna Prost might be the strongest lineup of all time. It was a mess. I mean, they won championships along the way, but when you get two drivers like that, two number one drivers, it sounds amazing on paper. Hamilton Leclerc driver lineup is nuts. But will it work? We'll have to find out, won't we? Can't wait to find out. Got a full year. Got a full year to wait. Got a full year to waffle on about it. So get in. But yeah, I reckon Albon heads to Red Bull, Alonso to Merc. Do you know what, Carl? I reckon that's not a bad shout. I was watching a guy called Peter Windsor. And yes, Todd, welcome in. I'll get to your comments in a minute, Chris. I know you're on a put a few messages. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Albon. Yes, I was watching this guy called Peter Windsor. I watch his streams. He does like live streams where he's just talking about Formula One, but he's got massive insight. He's been involved in Formula One since like the 1960s. But he sort of let slip that now I don't know if this is set in stone, but he has let slip that Albon has got a 3-year contract at Red Bull from 25 onwards. So in other words, this is Perez's last season at Red Bull. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's true. Whether it is true, probably is. But it might not be. That's not something that's been officially announced. But I wouldn't be surprised if you're right there, Carl. And it is Albon back to Red Bull. So you've got Verstappen, Albon at Red Bull. Mind you, this is Albon V2. This is Albon version 2. This isn't Alexander Albon 2021 where he's just turned up as a rookie and like binned it in the gravel and go, and it's all too much for him. This is Albon 28, 29 years old with like 6 year career under his belt, ready to step up. So Albon version 2 with Max. That's a lineup and a half. That is a lineup and a half. But Hamilton saw the Ferrari movie. I've not seen that yet. Adam Driver, innit? I'll have to check that out, but I don't think it's about racing. I think it's just more about Enzo Ferrari's personal life in the 1950s or 60s or whatever. But yeah, and so Red Bull wins again. What, this season? Listen, I hope it's closer. I think it will be closer. Like I said. How big a miss would Horner be? Massive. That's another thing. Whether these allegations are true or not, I don't know. Not really read up on it a lot. But if Horner was forced to or voluntarily step down, who fills Christian Horner's boots at Red Bull Racing? And does that then trigger a domino effect where Adrian Newey then looks at the situation and goes, I've been at Red Bull 15 years or however long it is. We've had the ups, we've had the downs. You know, he's not getting any younger. Adrian Newey must be knocking on the door of 70. Adrian Newey, 60 odd at least. Because Adrian Newey is really the brains behind the project. And I think if Christian Horner leaves, will Adrian Newey think, well, I had a good run? And then it all comes tumbling down like a deck of cards then. You know what I mean? Then we're on for 25 then, aren't we? Then we go, whew, Horner gone, Hamilton in red, Alonso with a 1-year stopgap deal at Mercedes. Let's go. Oh, yeah, absolutely buzzing. But yeah, it would be a massive loss. Whether those allegations are true or not, or whether it'll just be news today, gone tomorrow, we never hear of it again, and it was all just bollocks. I don't know. But if Christian Horner has to step down. It's massive. It is massive. Christian Horner's been in charge of Red Bull Racing since, 2005? Since they entered Formula One, it was Christian Horner at the helm since day one. And Red Bull joined in like 05, I think, because they bought it off Jaguar, didn't they? So it's 20 years. It's near as makes no difference. 20 years at the pinnacle of the best team in recent history. Like, mate, if he has to leave, it's massive. But yeah, Chris, Red Bull win this season and next season. That's where the bookies would be. 26. You see, this is it. Lewis is thinking as well about 2026. And whether Ferrari have sat him down and gone, this is what's cooking for 2026. And he's gone, ooh, well, I've seen what's cooking at Mercedes, and this is looking tastier. Maybe. Whether how much they would have shared with him on that, but maybe someone's sat him down and gone, this is the place to be for 26. Because if you don't know, that is the next big regulation change in Formula One. So, if you're not familiar with the ins and outs of Formula One, how it generally works is you'll get about a 7-year period-ish. This is not set in stone. Sometimes it can be 5, 6 years, 7, 8 years period of stability. And then every so often, there'll be a big reset where they'll go, right, now it's not going to be V8 engines anymore. It's going to be V6 turbo hybrids, bang, and the whole thing changes. Then you'll have 6 or 7 years of stability, and then they'll bring in, right, this aerodynamic package, we're scrapping it, everything new, and then it resets again. So the last reset was at the end of 21, which they never should have done, because 2021 season was an absolute banger. So we got a reset in 2022, beginning of 22. Cars were completely different, aerodynamic wise, brought back ground effect, all the rest of it. So this set of technical regulations runs 22, 23, 24 and 25. So we've got 4 years of static regulations, which means we might have another, so we're halfway through this. So we might have another couple of years of max. Then 2026, they're changing the engine regulations, so they're getting rid of is it MGUH? Anyway, things are being simplified, things are being changed, they're going to sustainable fuels, and it's a big reset. So Lewis going to Ferrari in 25 is with an eye on 26, or both eyes on 26. Gets his feet under the table for 25, gets used to everyone, learns a bit of Italian, gets to know everyone, gets to know the routine, the regimes, how they work. Then 26 maybe is the final swan song, because by then he'd be like 41. Maybe then, 26 is the one. But yeah, what are we saying? Beating Leclerc ain't hard. I reckon it is. Beating Charles Leclerc over a full season. Like I say, I put Leclerc just on the coattails of the elite sort of club. He's there, and I have to put him there because of his qualifying pace. His qualifying pace is the fastest guy in Formula One over one lap. Charles Leclerc banged more than half a dozen pole positions last year, but he just didn't convert them into victories. But he was on pole every other week, every other race. Charles Leclerc was on pole last season against the most dominant car that's ever been made. So Charles Leclerc's rapid. So it's not easy. It's not easy. Lewis will walk away if he wins a championship with the boys in red. That can go either way, though, because if he wins a championship, then he'll think, wow, I'll carry on. let's go again for next year. Or it can go that way. Let's finish it on a high, and that, that's what you're saying, isn't it? You win a championship in red, you go, cheers. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What I do know is it would be absolutely massive. Even the hype, like even if in pre-season testing, if the Ferrari's quick at the beginning of next year, mate, the hype will be off the charts. Oh mate, anyway, that's a year away anyway. Fred Light Boast Driver's interesting. Yeah, exactly. So Fred Vasseur, the team boss, goes way back with Lewis Hamilton. He was the boss of Lewis Hamilton in the junior formula, I think in GP3 and GP2. Hamilton drove for Fred Vasseur, who's now the Ferrari team principal. So yeah, so Fred and Lewis go way back. So it's partly Fred that's, or because Fred is in charge, this one of the reasons why Lewis has gone for it as well. And also he's been managing Leclerc through Sauber and all of that as well. So yeah, Fred Vasseur is a big part of it, without a doubt. I hope it works, but I have my doubts. I don't know. During about half an hour ago, our visitors. Yeah, no worries, mate. Any news on Hamilton's replacement? Yeah, no, I'm gonna get onto that actually. Yeah, I'm gonna get onto that now. Might watch F2 because of Antonelli. This is it, Carl. I'm gonna bookmark the thing about Hamilton's replacements, but F2. Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Oh mate, I can't wait for this F2 season. This is what I'm streaming it, Carl. I am doing watch-alongs on F2 this season. I don't care, mate. This is going to be one of the best F2 seasons ever. The lineup is absolutely stacked. Like I was going through it the other day of like, this guy's the F3 champion. This guy, there's a guy from Japan. If he's called Miyata from Japan, and he's like dominated Super Formula and the GT500. Like, oh, the lineup is stacked, honestly. And sticking in Andrea Kimi Antonelli at like 17 years old, driving for Prema. Oh, mate, this F2 season is going to be fire. I can't wait. Honestly, Carl, join me because it's going to be... I think I can do near enough every feature race because they're on Sunday mornings about 3 hours before Grand Prix, aren't they? So I could probably do all the feature races and maybe some of the sprints on a Saturday here and there, not all of them, but basically there's going to be 2 streams on a Sunday once the season starts. You're going to have the F2 feature race in the morning at like, at whatever time the race is on. So let's say, for example, the Grand Prix is on at 2 p.m. I'll do the F2 at like 10 a.m. or whatever it is, and then the Grand Prix at 2. So it'll be F2, bang, F1. Yeah, it's gonna be. I've wanted to get into F2 for years. Like I've always sort of seen it on the sidelines, seen highlights, seen bits and bobs. This is the year, man. This is the year. They've got the brand new chassis as well. F2 have ran the same car for the last 6 seasons as well. So that was a bit dead. So they've got a brand new car. They've got a stacked lineup. Yeah, F2, mate. Whoa, full send. I think Alonso retires after Aston Martin. I mean, it's amazing how he's still at the top of his game now, Fernando Alonso. How is he adding another 5-6 years onto the end of a career? Do you know what I mean? How is he still going at the top of his game? Fernando Alonso at the start of last season was Max's biggest challenger. You know, I remember like he was taking the lead into turn one at Saudi Arabia, and I'm going, come on, like get in there. And he's like 42, and he was Max's biggest challenger. How Fernando keeps his performance at that top elite level into his early 40s is nuts. How long can he keep going for? I really do. I just. Can Alonso see 45? You know, is he going to have grey hair? Still fighting for podiums? Like, what's the cut-off point? There isn't one. 2025 Mercedes and Ferrari be in transition. Well, the thing is, yeah, they won't want to put massive amounts of resources into 25 when 26 is round the corner. So because it's the end of an era, 25. So it's like, you're not going to be wanting to develop the car like every race, bringing new floors, new wings, new upgrades, like chill out. Like 26 is new car entirely. So yeah, 25's a bit of you're at the end of the regulations, aren't you? Leclerc's one of the best qualifiers on the grid, yeah, if not the best. Don't win titles on qualifying. No, you don't, but it puts you in a good spot, doesn't it? Puts you in a good spot. You know, you'd probably rather be rapid in quali and then have a bit of work to do in the race rather than always be down the grid because you're not that good in quali, but then good in the race. I think you'd rather be slapping pole positions and you think, right, let's get the race pace together, we're done. Do you know what I mean? Rather than always having to come through from the back because of a poor qualifying. So if Leclerc tidies up a few of his mistakes, why can't he be world champion? If Ferrari deliver the car as well. But yeah, imagine if the Merc route. This is the thing, in it, Carl. There's so many things, if buts or maybes, this season. What if the Mercedes is rapid? What if the Ferrari drops off this season and all of a sudden McLaren are quicker, Mercedes are quicker, Aston Martin are quicker, or maybe not Aston. Let's say Alpine have built a rapid car or something, and all of a sudden, like, Ferrari are like back end of the points, and Lewis is fighting for wins. What's he thinking at that point? This is lining up to be a crazy season in a lot of respects. Leclerc basically saying Bolt in qualifying the race is sprinting with injury. Yeah, pulls a hammy. I know we can wait a year. We have to wait a year. I know. I'm ready to. Let's do it. Let's do it. We've got 24 races between now and then, so time will. Do you know what I mean? We're not got a year of waiting where nothing happens. We've got an exciting year before then. Lift off, and I'm sat here in full red, full Tifosi mode, going, let's have a final dance in red. Can't wait. Yeah, Todd, you're here to learn. I hope I can teach you bits along the way. Seawolf is getting Ocon as number 2 at Mercedes. Is that what you reckon? There's a strong bone within Mercedes. Need one drive priority. So happy number 2. That's how it usually works in Formula One. That's usually the successful way to go about things, is having a number 1 driver and a number 2 driver, and that is never said, but it's everybody knows it. Like Max and Checo. They'll both have equal opportunity at the Bahrain Grand Prix this season, but everybody knows it. That's how it works. Charles and Carlos Sainz, they'll never tell him, but you're number 2, innit? Look, Hamilton and Bottas, all Hamilton's championships with Valtteri Bottas by his side. Bottas had equal opportunity, but everybody knows, innit? You're the number 2. And that's how successful dynasties are made. Look at Schumacher and Barrichello, there'll be dozens of examples throughout the years, but that is usually the way. But I don't know if a Russell Ocon lineup, I feel like that is probably the most likely, but I don't know if it's definitely not the most exciting option, but that's probably the most likely. Ocon is chaos. He's had a few tangles with teammates, hasn't he, Ocon? Exactly, the bold decision, but it'd be too bold, wouldn't it? The thing is about Antonelli, this season, which is why one of the reasons why we're watching F2 is because Antonelli's coming off like a perfect record. Antonelli has dominated every championship he's raced in. I think Antonelli raced in 2 championships at the same time, like a Formula Regional or Formula Italia or something like that. He raced in 2 championships at the same time and dominated both of them. This guy's unreal. And then stepped up last year and dominated that season as well. So, and he's skipping Formula 3. He's going straight from F4 or Formula Regional to F2 in one leap at 17 years old. The hype is nuts on this kid. Now, if Antonelli rocks up in F2 and starts winning races, you know what I mean? If Antonelli is winning races in F2 this season, Mercedes will have to seriously consider it. And that is crazy to even think about, but it'll have to be considered. Listen, they put Lewis Hamilton in at the deep end and he swum. You know what I mean? They plunged Lewis Hamilton in the deep end big time at McLaren when he rocked up. And he missed out on the championship by 1 point in his rookie season. It's been done before. If Antonelli is the real deal, it's going to have to be a serious consideration for Toto Wolff. Seriously. I'm feeling about no new team saying, oh, mate, yeah. Andretti's more serious than Haas. It is. We also said Bottas wasn't an exciting move. It's not. It wasn't, was it? That stood to be true. It wasn't an exciting move. But he played it out. You know what I mean? He did his job for the team. But yeah, I think the most likely option is that Mercedes get Ocon from Alpine. Then that triggers a chain reaction. Who do Alpine replace Ocon with? And it sets off a whole domino effect. Mick Schumacher returns. Maybe try and get Albon at that point. Yeah, there's a few different like sort of trees that you could draw in terms of right. If Mercedes get him, then he'll go there. There's a whole series of musical chairs that you could do depending on who Mercedes pick. Will they go for Sainz? You know, I've been thinking, will they do a straight swap and Sainz to Mercedes? But I think it depends. I think Mercedes have to be careful how high they rate George Russell. And I think this is a massive season for George Russell because he's got to prove this season that, first of all, he's got to beat Lewis this season. And he's got to prove that he is the man. He is the number one to take this team forward, to win races, to win championships. This is massive. You know, everyone's been saying, oh, it's good news for George Russell. It's Lewis moving. No, it puts the pressure on Russell big time, because Russell now has to prove he's the biggest bull in the stable. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That he is the one. And if he can't prove that, and let's say has a decent season, you know, finishes top 6 regularly, top 5, but there's no real wow moments, Mercedes then have to look, and then they've really got a head scratcher on. Then they think, right, well, Russell's good, but he's not going to win a championship against Verstappen in his prime. So then they've got to think bold at that point. So I think who Mercedes choose depends on how good George Russell is this season, in a nutshell. It depends how good George Russell is this season. Decides who Mercedes go for. Because if George Russell is on top of his game and he's down to prove that he is the man, we don't need no Lewis Hamilton round here, I'm your boy, then Mercedes can be chilling. And Mercedes can just go, all right then, let's just bring Ocon in. Same pair of hands. Decent driver. Perhaps underrated. You know, I've always said Esteban Ocon is underrated on the grid. Or we can bring in Carlos Sainz. Decent driver, good pair of hands, because we've got George Russell. This is the thing. They need to convince themselves we've got George Russell. Now, is that as big a thing as they want it to be in reality? Is that as big as what they want it to be? I don't think it is. I don't think that we've got George Russell is as big a statement as what they're hoping that it is. And this season's massive for him. He's got to prove he is the guy. Because I rate him, I think he's really good. But is he wow? Is he? Can he beat Max Verstappen? Can he beat Lando Norris? Can he beat Charles Leclerc? I don't know, man. I don't know. So I think that's what it boils down to. So if George Russell's looking really strong this season, Mercedes can play it safe and just get Esteban Ocon or bring Valtteri Bottas back. I know that is like, yeah. But if George Russell's the guy, put a number 2. Maybe Red Bull drop Perez and Mercedes go Russell Perez. There's many different avenues of possibilities. But what if George Russell isn't the man? That's when it gets interesting. If George Russell ain't the dog's bollocks, then they're going to have to think, fucking hell. If George Russell isn't the dog's bollocks, they've got to go bold. You've got to go Fernando. One final hurrah. You know what I mean? You've got to be going bold. You've got to be going, you know. And then if they're watching F2 and Toto Wolff watching F2, and it's Andrea Kimi Antonelli, 7 wins in a row. He's got to be thinking, do we do it? Do we do it? Do we do it? Do it. Do you know what I mean? It all depends if George Russell is he the man. Russell and Alonso. I think Russell and Alonso as a stopgap before Antonelli's ready is the most exciting. outcome. The most exciting outcome for me is an Alonso 1-year deal. A Fernando Alonso 1-year Mercedes deal for 25. That's the most exciting. And then Antonelli from 26. And Alonso just on a 1-year rampage. One final title. One final title challenge. Imagine you got Hamilton in Ferrari versus Alonso in a Mercedes. Oh, I'm on fantasy land now. I'm having a laugh. It used to be the other way around, didn't it? That'd be the full turn. That'd be the full tables turn. That, wouldn't it? Alonso in a Mercedes versus Hamilton in a Ferrari 2025. It won't happen because it's too good. It's too good, that. It's too exciting. I think it'd be like brains exploding left, right and centre if that happened. I think they'd probably go Ocon, don't they? They'd probably have a word with Sainz, and Sainz will probably want the Audi project, which is the Kick Sauber thing at the moment. He'd probably join that team. Bottas might retire. Sainz to Kick Sauber stake fucking gamble F1 team, and which is turning into Audi. But I don't know, mate. But Russell Alonso would be mad. Sainz to Red Bull, I don't see it. Although it's probably an upgrade on Perez. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the Verstappen Albon is the one. Verstappen Albon, and they have to sign Albon to compete with the Hamilton Leclerc situation at Ferrari. Hamilton Leclerc at Ferrari versus Max and Alex at Red Bull. Or Mercedes go all in for Piastri as well. Or Vettel, yeah. What if Sebastian Vettel comes back? I don't think that's drastically out of the question, to be honest. Used to be Toro Rosso. Yeah, that's the thing. Sainz has links to. He was in the Red Bull Junior program and all that back in the day. Russell's number 1 after Lewis. Can't see Alonso there. Unless Russell has a bad season. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. I think it depends. The first half of this season's massive, really, because it lets Mercedes know, where do we go with this? Do we play it safe and go for an Ocon or a Sainz or a Perez? Should Perez be dropped? Do we go for a Sainz, Ocon, Perez, or are we going to have to be bold here? Is Russell good but not the guy? Then what are we doing? Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, but Sebastian Vettel's, has he still got it though? Sebastian Vettel, has he still got it? Even if he did decide to come back, would that be like I'd be a bit worried. If Sebastian Vettel came back, I'd be a bit like, oh, this could be damaging. I'd be a bit like, oh, this could be like Schumacher's second career when he came back from Mercedes in like 2010, 11, 12. One podium, one pole position, and a lot of crashes. It wasn't great. And if, I don't know about Sebastian Vettel coming back, man, I'd be a bit like, oh, really? It'd be exciting, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he was sort of done with it, to be honest. Well, there's loads of options. Verstappen always gets easy teammates. He needs a challenge. Yeah, but you want someone who's there or thereabouts, but you don't want someone who's butting heads with Verstappen, because then you're just creating a problem that you don't need. Because if you're winning Constructors' Championship, you're getting 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship, chill out. Do you know what I mean? You don't. That's just what the fans want. But if you're working for Red Bull, if you're Christian Horner, you need to chill out. You don't need to be rushing to replace Perez unless the gap's that big that other teams start getting in the middle of yours. And you've got Verstappen winning, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, and then the other Red Bull driver. Then you have to switch it out. But when you're winning Constructors' Championship comfortably and you're finishing 1, 2 in drivers, just be careful what you're doing. The grass is always greener, do you know what I mean? But is it? Audi on the phone to Vettel. Yeah. That's another 2 years off, though. By then, Vettel's won't be physically ready for it. Vettel ain't it anymore. I don't think he is he? I don't think so, Elder, mate. Sainz Senior won Dakar. Oh, well, yeah, but it's a different game, that though, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's a different game. But yeah, what else? We also had the, I didn't really get into it, but we also had the Andretti rejection, which I had a big rant about in the summer. If you want to see that stream, I think it's called Andretti Rejected. And it was probably about 6 months ago. And yeah, I've had the big rant. I've had the big rant because I knew then that it'd be rejected. And it has been rejected. So Andretti, if you don't know, applied to be a new entry, an 11th team on the grid in Formula One for, I think they were applying for next year. And the 10 current teams have turned around and said, we don't want it. You're not entering our club. Which is, obviously, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know the nitty gritty of the detail because the general public doesn't. You don't get that kind of insight. But on the face of it is absolute bollocks. And the fact that the teams have got to a position where they've got so much power that they can decide who enters their club, how it's got to that position of utter power is beyond a joke. You know, in football terms, it's like a team getting promoted from the Championship and the current Premier League team's going, nah, we don't want them in the Premier League. Don't fancy them. They're not going to add anything to the Premier League. We're happy as we are. What do you mean? It's not up to you. It shouldn't be up to the teams. It is just. I can't honestly. I had the big rant about it 6 months ago. So now it's just like. I'm just done with it. It's just like, what is that? They should be on the grid. Mario Andretti is a living legend. And the Andretti name is massive in motorsport. I don't know. On what grounds are they rejecting the Andretti bid? On what grounds? I'd have it with anybody. On what grounds are they being rejected? Because they're not adding anything to Formula One. Are you joking? It's an utter shambles. And everyone involved with that decision to reject Andretti should be thoroughly ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed of that. And I hope it gets appealed. I hope they fight the corner. I hope Andretti go down every legal avenue that they possibly can to fight this. And hopefully one day they can join the grid. But it's ridiculous. Exactly, that's the thing, Chris. It's not like they've not got the space for him. There's space for another 2 teams at least. Another 3 teams if you really want to stretch it. But another 2 teams definitely is enough space for 12 teams. There was 12 teams in from like 2010 to like 13, 14. There was 12 teams. Then there was 11. Then there was 10. Then it went down to 9. I think we had a year before Haas joined in like 2015. I think there was 9 teams. Man, I was starting to look thin. And then Haas joined, made it 10 again. I'm sure we had a year. Or maybe... but anyway, it's 10 teams is okay. But I'm telling you now, they think they're this rock solid club, yeah, of 10. But if one crumbles, if Haas decide this ain't it, let's say, right, Gunter Steiner's already gone, right? What if Haas have an abysmal season this year, and Gene Haas turns around and goes, "We've had a go. We've had 9 years, 9 seasons, or whatever. It's not for me." What if Gene Haas pulls the plug? Not even at the end of this season. What if at the end of 2026, when there's new regulations and they build a new car and it's rubbish, right? Then all of a sudden your precious little 10-team club is down to 9, and that's looking thin. It's not enough cars. It's not enough. You need the diversity of all the teams. You need more. More is better. 11th team, 12th team is nothing but positive. Even if it's like a slow team, like even if it's like what did we have? Like a Caterham, HRT. Who else was there? Virgin Racing that became Manor. Even they might not be competing for wins, but it's just more stories, more action, more to talk about. More drivers get a chance as well. See, that's the other aspect. More seats, more opportunities for more young drivers. How many F2 champions actually get promoted these days? Not nearly enough. Teo Porcher, what's he doing this season? He's won F2, no room at the inn, mate, because there's only 10 teams and we're all saying stick. There's been absolutely no driver transfers for this season. Nobody's retiring. Nobody's getting dropped. Lance Stroll, looking at you. What are you doing here, Brev? Meanwhile, you've got F2 champions winning the junior categories and coming up against a brick wall. Bang, no room at the inn. What do you mean? So then an F2 champion is not allowed to race in F2 anymore. If you win the F2 championship, you're either getting to F1 or you're looking elsewhere. You're looking World Endurance Championship, Formula E. You're just in the cast-offs. You know, Formula E is just full of ex-F1 drivers and drivers that there was no room at the inn at F1. They won F2, won F3, won F4, gets to F1. Sorry, mate. Do you want to be a reserve driver? Sim driver? Mate, it's tragic. And then so we get an opportunity of an 11th team, which is 2 more seats. No, I don't want it. Don't want it. And it's Andretti. This is the thing. It's Michael Andretti, Mario Andretti. This isn't some 2-bit company like Rich Energy tried to get in on a flipping, we sold 2 crates of energy drinks. Let's make an F1 team. This ain't no 2-bit $10 company. This is a serious multi-billion-dollar brand. And they've been rejected. If Andretti can get rejected, that means basically anybody would be rejected. Anybody would be rejected then. So you can't get in. That's it. They're happy with their 10-team club and there ain't a room for 11th. What a joke. What a joke. Because like I said before, it's all right if those 10 are strong, but if someone pulls the plug, mate, what if Audi's deal doesn't materialise? And Stake F1 team in 3 years go, oh, we never planned for this. Pull the fucking plug. Or what if Red Bull one day decide, I tell you what, running 2 teams is a bit expensive, isn't it? You know what I mean? What if they drop off and Mercedes go and win a couple of championships and Red Bull think, whoa, we can't really afford 2 teams anymore. That was in the glory days. This is getting a bit peak. Tell you what, that second team, don't fancy it. You know what I mean? Things change. And having 11 teams, then if someone pulls the plug, in 2 years' time, GNAS pulls the plug, all right, we're back down to 10. We're still all right. Is anyone else wanting to get in? Audi Group, whatever. Anyone else fancy getting in? 10's fine, but 9 isn't. That's the point. 9 isn't fine. 9's looking thin. So Andretti being rejected is an absolute joke. Absolute shocker. Exactly, doesn't make... That's the other thing as well. They're trying to grow the sport, grow the audience in the US, but you're rejecting the biggest racing team in the United States. Excuse me? Tell me how that makes sense. Even from a commercial point of view, it only grows the fan base in the US. It only grows the worldwide appeal of Formula One. It gets, oh mate, there's just 500 positives and no negatives. And yet they are rejected out of hand. Ridiculous. So that's 2 rants I've had now about Andretti being rejected. But to me, I said it months ago, to me, like, the Holy Grail is a new team. Like, a new team wanting to join Formula One is like the Holy Grail, mate. That is like the most exciting thing that you could want in the sport. Especially a big name like Andretti, that's massive. They should be, the thing is, not only should they not be rejected, they should be welcomed with open arms. They should not only be accepted, but accepted with fucking confetti and ribbons, the lot. Like, welcome to the grid and a big welcome party. It should be, I just don't get it, man. It's I'd love to have a chat with someone who's in the know. Someone who, right, we rejected them based on this, and they all sit me down with you then. Let's have a chat. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to have behind the scenes knowledge on it. And he said, well, actually, rejected him because point A, point B, point C, point D. And then I'd actually go, well, I didn't know that. But on the face of it, it's ridiculous. Yes, Gav, we've had a bit of an upgrade, haven't we? We've had a bit of an upgrade, D-Lad. What do you reckon? I've got to mess with the lighting and stuff, and I know it can be a bit fuzzy and stuff, but yeah, it's pretty decent, isn't it? Wow, as if I've done an hour and a half. But yeah, Gavin, anyone who wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, these are the cars that have been revealed so far for the 2024 season. It's carbon black all round this year, mate. It's carbon black all round. So we're losing colour rapidly. So they need to have a word with themselves. Carbon black car with a bit of white, with a bit of blue and pink, with a bit of green, with a bit of blue, with a bit of orange. This is the way. This is the future. Crap. Apparently, to save weight, they're not using paint anymore on the cars. Because it's that much on a limit that you can't even paint the car anymore, because then the car weighs too much. When did things get this far south? Why did things get this far south? To where? To the extreme. How extreme is that? You can't even paint the car because the paint weighs too much. Excuse me? When did things get this far south? I do not know. But if we're not careful, like I said at the beginning of the stream, if we're not careful, we're going to end up with 10 carbon black cars with like one pinstripe of colour on them and a couple of logos. Yes, Barry. Welcome in. Anyway, that's probably about it. Welcome in, Gav. Welcome in, Barry. See you in a bit. No, but we've had it. We've had the rant, haven't we? What was it? So there was the liveries. What was on the agenda? The liveries. Hamilton to Ferrari. Dream come true. Bring on 2025. But we've got an exciting season to look forward to before that. Then there was about who's going to replace Hamilton. I'm saying Ocon is probably the most likely as a safer bet. But I hope they go bold and I hope they go Alonso. Alonso on a 1-year deal or Andrea Kimbi Antonelli if Antonelli is tearing it up in F2. Chuck him in at the deep end. Chuck him in. Imagine. But yeah, they'd probably go Ocon, won't they? They'd probably go Esteban Ocon, really. I mean, Russell Ocon. I mean, tell me, does Russell Ocon fill you with, is that a major lineup, that? George Russell, Esteban Ocon. Is that like a championship winning team? I feel like it's solid. It's solid. It's going to, but is it wow? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton's big shoes to fill, in it. Ricardo. Ricardo. Would you put Ricardo in with Russell? I mean, if Ricardo has a stellar season, because Ricardo's got it all to prove again. Like, Ricardo's on like a part 2 of his career, really. Part 1 ended badly. He had a great initial few episodes, and it tailed off. You know what I mean? And then he's had like a year out, came back in, broke his hand, out again. Now he's back in again. Daniel Ricciardo's, it's a shout from left field, that, because whilst he was pulling up trees in like 2016, 17, 18, he's not really done anything for about 4 years. So, do you know what I mean? It's peak. Liam Lawson looked better than Danny Rick. Well, yeah. Where's Liam Lawson racing this year, man? It's going to Alex Albon to replace Hamilton. Russell Albon. I would like to see that. However, I'm going to sound like a journalist now, but it is my understanding that Alexander Albon has got a 3-year contract with Red Bull starting 2025. That's how I see it playing out. I think Albon goes back to Red Bull, but it's Albon V2, innit? It's Albon version 2. It's not Albon, the young kid that arrived and couldn't hack it. It's Albon in his late 20s, having had 5 seasons. So, yeah, I think Albon back to Red Bull. But Russell Albon's strong, yeah. Russell Albon's more exciting than Russell Ocon, innit? It's going to be really interesting to see what route Mercedes go down. And like I said before, I think it really depends on how good George Russell is this season. If he proves he's the man, they can play it safe with the second driver. If he's not quite the guy, I think Russell Ocon represents a bit of a drop off. Well, obviously it's a drop off going from a 7-time world champion, but Russell Alonso, it's more like, right, we're going for it. We're all guns blazing, mate. Russell Alonso is like, right, batten down the hatches, get your seatbelts on. We're having a go, mate. It's bold. Whereas a Russell Ocon is like, we fell off. We've lost our star driver. We fell off and we're trying to just scramble a couple of years of stability. That's what that sounds like to me. Whereas Russell Alonso is like, right, move out of the way. We've got a fucking train coming through here. Let's have a do. Just a lot more ambitious, in a word. It's just more ambitious. Alonso on a 1 year, all you can eat, bamboozle. Do you know what I mean? On a 1 year soiree of chaos, carnage, and I'd love it. I would love it. But we probably won't see it. Yeah, Russell Alonso. Exactly. Ocon robs me. That sounds fantastic. Because it is. Because it would be. It just would be, wouldn't it? It'd be blockbuster, that. It'd be blockbuster. And what it would show Mercedes are like, right, you want to... Because they're like the old rivals, aren't they? Hamilton, Alonso. It's like, right, Lewis, you want to leave us? Right, we're going to get your oldest foe. And we're going to... Do you know what I mean? It's like, you want to throw the first punch? Right. We're putting on our boxing gloves right now. You want to throw the first punch, Lewis? We're throwing on our gloves and we're employing Fernando Alonso, your greatest foe. Whereas if they just go, oh, Lewis is leaving, Ocon, it's like, you know. Is it a bit of a filler? Are they just waiting? That would tell me, like, it also depends how well Antonelli does, mate. That's the big mystery. Is Antonelli? Nah, Leclerc's nailed down. Norris is nailed down. You ain't never buying them two for all the money in the world. Piastri's an interesting one. I don't know who said Piastri. There was someone on Sky Sports, I don't know if it's Karen Chandok or one of them, said Mercedes go all in for Piastri and just buy him and just like give McLaren a serious bank transfer of seismic proportions and get Oscar Piastri. Russell Piastri is that's good. That's good. But I just don't. I think McLaren would be like, how much for Piastri? What? Double it, treble it, quadruple it. You ain't never getting him. I feel like McLaren, they knock on McLaren's door. They're getting it slammed in the face, aren't they? I can't see the Piastri move. But if Mark Webber wants it, see, Piastri's manager is Mark Webber. And Mark Webber could go, come on, Oscar. These guys, These guys have won 7 of the last 10 championships. We'll leave the orange. We'll leave the I don't know, man. I don't know. Russell Piastri sounds good though. Full send Alonso with the view of getting Antonelli later. That is what I would do. If I'm Toto Wolff, I'd do Alonso on a 1-year carnage, on a 1-year final, you know what I mean? A 1-year last dance. One final title push. And then Antonelli 26. I think that's what I would do. Because surely Alonso would do that. Unless Aston are absolutely rapid this season. Aston come out of the blocks this year like they did last year. And Alonso will probably go, I'm good. No, I feel like Alonso would go for it, wouldn't he? Surely. Yeah. Sainz needs a seat, maybe him. Yeah, the thing about Sainz is he'll probably do the kick Sauber stake F1 team route, knowing that it's going to be Audi in a couple of years, which that's kind of just a fan theory though. That it's not really ever been confirmed or talked about in any serious way. It's kind of just a fan theory, that this Sainz Audi thing. But it just makes sense somehow. It just works. I don't know. Netflix had a field day with Alonso 1-year contract. I'd have a field day with me. The whole F1 fan base, mate. An Alonso 1-year deal, battling Hamilton at Ferrari. Mate, viewing figures on Sky Sports, mate. Fucking treble it. No, it would be insane. But maybe it's too insane though, innit? Maybe it's too much. Maybe Toto Wolff and whoever, maybe they'll look at that and go, what? You know, maybe they'll be in a meeting and they'll be like, oh, do you dare me? And then the other Mercedes CEO goes, I dare you. And it goes, do you dare me? And the other guy goes, yeah, go on, I dare you. And then the big boss at the top of the table goes, don't you fucking dare. Don't even think about it. It's Ocon, mate. You're not doing this. It would be like a game of like, go on then. It's just what it wouldn't be, would it? When the Hamilton news stuck at work, Gab. Stuck at work, mate. No, I didn't have this background or anything set up, so I couldn't just go live like that day because it would have just been. I was like halfway through doing this, so and doing like I've got a new intro and stuff. I was like I'd like half the intro made. I was still messing about with this, trying to make it look half decent, and then that dropped. I was like, I'm not ready. I can't do it. So we're here now, aren't we, a week later? But the thing is, it's good because I've had like 7 or 8 things to talk about. So it's not just like one thing. Oh, Hamilton's Ferrari, what an amazing move. See in a bit. There's actually been, because I've not been live for so long, there's been like 8 bits of news that have built up over the past week alone. It's been a mad week. But yeah, I think the Alpine launch today, I saw that launch, I was like, I need to have a good moan about this. And no paint. We're on paintless cars this year. It's a joke, man. The thing is, we've got 5 carbon black cars with a bit of colour on them. And then the Mercedes are going to launch. That's going to be carbon black. They've got Aston Martin, that'll be dark green and carbon black. This is looking peak. Then you got Red Bull, that's the darkest shade of blue before you get to black. We're literally going to be relying on this Visa Cash App team. Mate, these team names, Stake, Kick, Sauber, and Visa Cash App. That is shocking, mate. That is shocking. I think I'll be calling Kick or Stake or whatever. They're just Sauber. They're just Sauber for a couple of years. Yeah, it's just Sauber. And this Visa Cash App bollocks, that's Racing Bulls, isn't it? Racing Bulls, mate. Fucking think of a corny name than that. And the Racing Bulls go side by side into turn 3. Oh my God. Jeez. Yeah, Visa Cash App F1 team, mate. Might be relying on them for a bit of colour on the grid. Which is peak times. I can see Ferrari coming out with a carbon black, like, with just like a red engine cover and red side pods. I can see him coming out with like carbon black front and rear wing, carbon black, like lower third. Oh, mate, it's going to be peak. Exactly, Ferrari red and black. Aston dark green and black. Red Bull navy blue and black. So, it's a colourful year, mate. Oh, bring back, like 5 years ago, we had like a bright pink Racing Point. We had the bright yellow Renault. We had like, do you remember the Force India that was bright green and orange? Mate, I'm reminiscing now. Just, where's all the colour gone? No, this paint thing, this paint thing where they can't paint the car because it's a joke, man. That Visa Cash App car, bright green and orange, their main colours. Visa Cash App. Is it green and orange? I thought it was like a blue. I thought it was blue and green. I'd love to see it. Bright blue and green. Exactly, to wrap a car. Mind you, it's not, they don't use that though. But yeah, you wouldn't think that. Just wrap it, yeah. Maybe the wrap would melt with the heat, so they don't do it that way. Maybe if they used like a wrap, maybe it just catch fire with the heat. So they have to use traditional paint. And then after 3 layers of that, they think, well, this is another 10 kilos added to the car. Right, bollocks, strip it off. We're going full naked carbon black this season. Don't care. But anyways, that's about it, innit? An hour and 50 minutes. I think we've had a chat, haven't we? We've had a bit of a catch up. But, before I go, just as a heads up, the first 2 races of the season are on a Saturday afternoon, not on the Sunday. It's to do with Ramadan, I think. So the first 2 races are in the Middle East, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. So it essentially is going to shift everything a day early. So it'll be qualifying on Friday and the race. Well, it'll be practice Thursday, but I won't be live for practice. Well, maybe FP1. Maybe do FP1 in Bahrain because it's the first. Yeah, maybe do FP1 in Bahrain because it's the first practice session of the season. I'd be the only practice session that they do. But I'll do FP1 in Bahrain, and then it'd be qualifying on the Friday afternoon, race day Saturday afternoon, March 2nd. So, end of this month, beginning of next month, we're back in the game. So that'll be the first proper stream. Well, no, in fact, it might work out that the first stream is like a F2 sprint race on the Friday. Maybe. And then qualifying. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get there, because I'll do as many of the F2 races as I can. I'll do as many, but it will entail me missing most of the sprint races for F2. But I'll be able to do most of the, in fact, probably every feature race for F2. But some of them will be early hours of the morning, mate. You have to be... You have to join me at 4 o'clock in the morning in Australia for me going, Andrea Kimi Antonelli. I can't wait for it. Yeah, but sprint race is not in the first few races though. I'm talking about F2 sprint race. Sprint races in F1 this season. China, Miami, Austria, US, Brazil, Qatar. So it's like round 5, round 6, round 11, round 16, 18, and 22. So something like that anyway. So yeah, there's a heads up. Bahrain Grand Prix is on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday the 2nd of March. So we'll do qualifying on the Friday the 1st. And the race on. So if you tune in on Sunday, because if you, I know there'd be a couple of people on the Sunday going, "Why is he not live?" You've missed it, Brev. You wake up on the Sunday thinking, "Right, first race of the season, let's switch on." What do you mean? What do you mean Logan Sargent's won the race by 38 seconds? What do you mean Lance Stroll has stormed from 18th to 2nd? So you'll have missed it. So it's Saturday. The first 2 races are Saturday the 2nd and Saturday the 9th of March. Then it's a bit of a fucked up. The first 7 races are not at conventional times. So this is how the start of the season is. It's just wild. It's terrible organisation. So the first 2 races are on a Saturday, so most of the casual fans will miss the first 2 races because every single Grand Prix, apart from Vegas last year, well, even that was early hours Sunday morning UK time, but every single Grand Prix for 70 years has been on a Sunday. The first 2 of this season, Saturday, mate. So every casual fan's missing that. Then round 3, Australia, in European times, that's an early morning gig, That's a 5 a.m. That's me setting my alarm at R4 in the morning. You know what I mean? Waking up, getting in this chair with one eye open going, it's lights out and away we go. That's Australia. Then, 2 weeks after that, round 4, Japan, same gig, same idea, R5 in the morning. And it's Verstappen. See you later and see you next week. So, first 2 on a Saturday, Australia early hours in the morning, Japan early hours in the morning, Chinese Grand Prix, I don't trust it. First of all, because it's been cancelled for the last 3-4 years. So, do I trust the Chinese Grand Prix going ahead? No, but it probably will now. We're far enough away from that stuff that maybe now is China's time to return. Maybe. So, but if that goes ahead, same gig, 5 o'clock in the morning game. Then, that's first 5 rounds. Then round 6, Miami. That is at probably 10 o'clock at night, Sunday night. It's not till you get to Imola on the 19th of May is a race on a Sunday afternoon. That is the first race on a Sunday afternoon, is the 19th of May, round 7. So, in a nutshell, casual fans are missing the first 6 races of this season. Who thought that was a good idea, mate? Because casual fans are missing the first 6 races of this season. Because I tell you what, if you're a casual fan, you ain't getting up at 5 a.m. for Japan and China and Australia. And you're going to miss the first 2 because they're on a Saturday. So get in. So no sleep for me, my lad. No, I mean, I'm up for it. Like, I like it. Do you know what I mean? I live for this game, so I'm up at 5 a.m. for a practice session in the middle of fucking God knows where. Because it's my life, innit? So, but for people who just might switch it on, might not, if you're in that band, I'll see you for round 7. I'll see you for round 7 in Imola in the middle of May. But yeah, it's peak. It's peak. So get in. But yeah, anyway, so that's your heads up. That's what's coming up. It's early morning alarms and it's Saturday afternoons. It's not H the Madman. Well, you know, the stream's there later when you know, some of the views I get is like the week after it's happened. So people are like, oh, I wonder what he said about it. So, you know, if you want to check it out on a Tuesday afternoon, feel free. But yeah, listen, I've drawn this out for 2 hours. But yeah, we've gone just through some of the latest news and stuff. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you like the studio. Bit cringe. But I hope you like the new background anyway. It does look a lot better, doesn't it? But yeah, we're ready for F1 and F2. Big hype this season on a lot of drivers. So that's about it. I might do a pre-season predictions video, you know, in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, honestly, I'll see you in a few weeks. Consider the channel back up and running because I know we've had like 2 months of dead cheese. You know what I mean? We've had 2 months of dead air because there was nothing going on in December and January, and then it's all kicked off. Hamilton going to Ferrari. Wah! You know what I mean? So yeah, peace out, guys. Cheers, Flabby G, mate. Coming back bigger, better, faster, stronger for 2024. You're doing testing. Testing might be at work. I don't know. I'll see about testing, but testing you can't really like there's no like huge moments, is there? I can't go. There's nothing to get that excited for in testing because it's like, well, Pierre Gasly on his 78th lap of the morning session sets a 1:23 on the hard compound tyre. That's 0.2 quicker than he's gone in the last May. There's not a lot of excitement in testing, but definitely by the time we get to qualifying in Bahrain, we're turned up to 11. It's been 2 months. It has. Yeah. Oh, testing. Oh, mate, testing 2025. Carl, full Ferrari gear, full merch. I don't even care, mate. No shame. 2025. I've already been saying to people like 2025. I literally won't be doing every race on the channel because I'll be at races in 2025. I have to go and see Hamilton in the Ferrari. In fact, I'm telling you right now, I'll be at pre-season testing next year. I'll be there. No shame. Full Ferrari kit, socks, boxers. I have to see Ferrari, Hamilton in Ferrari red, mate. You know what I mean? I can't commit to every single stream. I'll be sat here watching on TV, mate. I'll be going. I have to. It is a dream come true, honestly. So I'll be there. We'll go live track side, mate. 2025. We sod the background. It'd be track side, mate. 2025. I'm serious. You live once, don't you? I've got to see Ferrari in the Scarlet Red, mate. It's just, I've waited probably a decade. Do you know what I mean? I'll be there, mate. Boxers, yeah. Yeah, but so whilst the hype might not be there for testing this year or testing next year, mate. Oh, sign me up. The thing is, I know. I am Claire, mate. That's the problem. Right, no. Listen, right. I will see you all soon. We're back up and running. I've remembered what buttons to press to go live and that, because I forgot what I was doing. We've had a waffle. We've had a catch up. It's good to see everybody, by the way. Big shout outs to everyone that's joined the stream. I thought I might be sat talking to myself. So big ups. Gav, Barry, Carl, Flabby G, everyone else that was in chat. Chris was in before. Elder. But yeah, Todd was in. But yeah, big ups to everyone. JJ was in at the beginning. I think that was Matty Parker was in as well. Anto was in. JJ popped in. Chrissy was in at the beginning. But yeah, big ups on you, on everybody joining the stream. That's been a little bit of a catch up and a rant and a moan and a excitement as well. So there's been both sides, you know what I mean? Moan about some things, absolutely buzzing about others. So get in. Right, you have to rewatch it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, golden content in it. Unbelievable stuff. Right. I'll catch you all. I will catch you all very shortly. End of this month, we're back big time. Formula 1, Formula 2. Also thinking to do a bit of sim racing midweek as well. But I'm trying to think of a fun, exciting idea that would be worth watching. But yeah, we're back up and running for 2024. I'll catch you all soon. In a bit. Good to be back, man. Good to be back. Hamilton's Ferrari 25. Get in.